Ash fell from the sky like snow, a gray shroud over the burning jungle. The trees screamed in silent agony, their twisted trunks still glowing from Dominion plasma strikes. Somewhere beneath the smoke, a body stirred. Sergeant Marcus Kane pushed himself up on trembling elbows. His vision blurred, lungs raw from smoke. Blood slicked his temple, matting dust into his skin. The comm unit in his ear crackled faintly, static, then silence. "Reaper 1," he whispered. No answer. He looked around. The drop site was a massacre. Charred bodies of his squad lay crumpled among shattered gear. Jameson, his spotter, was slumped over, half his skull gone. The Dominion had hit them mid-deployment. No warning. No mercy. They weren't supposed to know Earth had boots on Thalvora yet. Kane's fingers found his rifle, M211 bolt action, old school. It felt heavy, like it had soaked up the death around it. He dragged it to his chest, checked the chamber. 1 round loaded. 6 in the mag, enough, maybe? He crawled to Jameson's body, pulled the dog tags. The man's face was unrecognizable, but his lucky coin still hung around his neck. Kane took it, tucked it into his vest. No time for grief. His HUD flickered back to life, faint range readings, a map glitching with red markers. Enemy patrols were sweeping west. He had less than 10 minutes before they reached him. Kane slipped into the tree line, body screaming with each step. The jungle swallowed him. He moved low, quiet. Just like Earth's forests, except this one hummed unnaturally, like it remembered everything that died within it. Half a click out, he found a ridge overlooking the valley. And there it was. The Dominion's forward command base. Gleaming black towers surrounded by shimmering energy walls. Soldiers in exo-armor moved like machines. Alien gunships drifted above like silent predators. Kane dropped prone, scope to eye. He found a high-ranking officer, a six-eyed Kreshtal, barking orders to troops. Kane adjusted for wind, distance, curvature. Breathed out. But didn't shoot. Too far for clean extraction. He watched instead, studied their patterns. Dominion tech relied on precision. Movement. Coordination. Take out the right node in the network, and the whole machine stalled. He backed away and moved east. A creek ran through the jungle, its banks thick with vines. He used it to mask his tracks, then hunkered under a fallen tree. He needed rest. Food. Reinforcements. He had none. So he slept. Just before dusk, a rustle woke him. He slid his knife out, heart steady. 2 Dominion scouts. Small, fast. Reptilian. Not exo-armored, just recon. He waited. One passed by, the other paused, sniffing the air. Kane lunged. One stab, under the jaw, through the brainstem. The second turned, raised a plasma pistol. Crack. One suppressed shot. Head gone. Rifle already aimed before he moved. He stripped the bodies quickly. Ammo, rations, a comm device he couldn't read. One of them had a holographic tag. Coordinates, maybe? He pocketed it anyway. As night fell, the jungle changed. Bioluminescent plants lit the ground in eerie blues and greens. The air buzzed with unseen creatures. Kane found an overhang and made camp in silence. He thought of Jameson. Of the mission. They were supposed to observe, not engage. Map the Dominion position. Exfil in 48 hours. But now they were all dead. He sipped water and unfolded the ragged photo from his breast pocket. A woman. Laughing. A little boy on her shoulders. Both gone, long before this war. He stared for a moment, then folded it again. He wasn't here for revenge. He was here to remind the galaxy of something it had forgotten. Humans don't go down easy. The next morning, Kane moved before the sun fully rose. He followed the path the scouts came from and found an abandoned observation post, Dominion tech half cannibalized. Crates of rations. Basic power tools. A cracked visor showing the Dominion network feed. He patched into it using a translator cube he'd scavenged off a dead alien months ago on 407. Static, then a clear voice. Primitive Earth species no longer pose strategic threat. Resistance cells on Thalvora are being eliminated. Forward Command General Vrax will address the Dominion at dusk. Kane leaned forward. Vrax. Here. He watched the broadcast play. The alien general was a mountain of flesh and cybernetics. 6 limbs, all plated in black chrome. His voice was a growl beneath a guttural, metallic resonance. They brought bullets to a star war. Vrax sneered. Let the galaxy witness their extinction. Kane smiled. Guess I brought the right bullets then. He zoomed in on the backdrop behind Vrax, a tall ridgeline, distinct crescent-shaped rock formation. He knew that ridge. Just over 3 clicks west. The broadcast looped. A countdown blinked in the corner. 15 hours to address. Plenty of time. He grabbed the ammo, found a clean scope, and repacked his gear. By midday, he was on the move again. Through thick underbrush. Past burnout mechs and fallen drones. The Dominion didn't expect survivors, and that arrogance made them lazy. By late afternoon, he reached the ridgeline. He found a sniper's nest half built into the rock, long abandoned. Repaired the camo netting, reinforced the perch, adjusted for angle. From here, the Dominion plaza below looked small. Ant-like. But he could make out faces, insignias. Vrax would stand there tonight. And Marcus Kane would be waiting. He checked his rifle one last time. Chambered a round. Then he leaned back, slow, steady breath in. Let's show them how humans end wars. The shot came just as the Dominion anthem swelled. A single crack. Sharp. Cold. Final. General Vrax's head recoiled mid-speech, jerking like a puppet with severed strings. 1 second, he stood with his clawed hands raised in triumph, his voice booming across the plaza. The next, his skull exploded in a red mist, splattering the officers flanking him. Silence followed. No gunships launched. No alarms blared. Just a pause. Hollow. Disbelieving. Then panic. Sergeant Marcus Kane exhaled and lowered the rifle, eyes never leaving the chaos below. Alien soldiers scattered like insects. Some ran. Others fired blindly into the ridgeline. None knew where the shot had come from. He'd already moved. Crawling back from the nest, Kane kept his body low, steps measured. He followed a path he'd scouted the night before, under roots, through a dry gully, beneath a curtain of vines. By the time the gunships screamed overhead, he was gone. Half a click out, he slipped into a cave masked by fungus-covered stone. There, he waited, listening to the Dominion scramble. They didn't know how to handle this. They weren't built for asymmetric warfare. They controlled battlefields with force, not fear. And Kane had just introduced them to something older than technology. Doubt. 2 days passed. Vrax's death had shattered the local command. Patrols doubled. Gunships patrolled randomly, wasting fuel. Paranoia replaced precision. Kane observed from the treetops, logging patterns. Dominion captains barked confused orders. Their soldiers started arguing in the open. He saw one officer shoot another after a misstep. Perfect. Kane moved by night, studied by day. He marked sniping lanes, recorded drop zones, found blind spots in the Dominion perimeter. In the ruins of an old outpost, he discovered a human comm buoy, damaged, but functional enough to receive intel bursts. The next transmission was short. UN Command, Reaper 1 status unknown. Presumed Kia. No extraction planned. Proceed as go stop record kills. Destabilize leadership. No support. No backup. Just him. He pocketed the chip, wiped the console clean, and disappeared into the jungle. Later that week, he struck again. 2 Dominion lieutenants, riding in an open crawler through a narrow pass. One round dropped the driver. The vehicle veered, slammed into a boulder. Kane was already above them. He dropped a charge onto the wreckage, triggered it just as backup arrived. 3 dead. No trail. He moved camp constantly. Ate little. Slept less. Every kill chipped away at the illusion of Dominion invincibility. He heard it in their speech, phrases like, "the ghost," or "silent earth killer." He left no message, no emblem. Just precision. One night, near a shattered temple overtaken by vines, he met her. She nearly knifed him. Kane had been watching a small supply convoy when he felt a presence, too quiet to be Dominion. He turned in time to parry a blade with his forearm, grabbed the attacker by the wrist, twisted. She flipped over him, landing low and silent, blade back in hand. "Human?" she hissed in broken English. He kept his rifle down. "You first." She studied him. Slender build. Copper-brown skin painted in ash and mud. Her armor was scavenged, part Dominion, part native. "I'm Ira," she said slowly. "Resistance." He nodded. "Kane." Ira lowered her blade cautiously. "You're the sniper," she said. "The one who killed the warlord." "Maybe. I watched from the trees." Her voice softened. "They thought he was untouchable." "No one's untouchable." She stared at him like he wasn't real. "I thought you'd be taller." Kane almost smiled. Ira led him to a hidden camp deep in the roots of a cliffside waterfall. A dozen survivors, natives, deserters, forgotten humans, lived in shadows, clinging to scraps. Most didn't speak. They just stared, hollow-eyed, waiting for the next strike. "They've given up," she whispered. "But they still follow me." "Why?" "Because I haven't." That night, they shared stories in hushed tones. Ira had lost her brother in the first invasion. She'd fought ever since, setting traps, ambushing patrols, scavenging. "You've been alone a long time," she said, eyes on the fire. Kane nodded. "People near me don't live long." "Then stay far," she said, not unkindly. But the next morning, she brought him data. Stolen schematics. Dominion patrol routes. Access codes to a forward weapons depot. "I thought you were leaving," she said. "I was." He looked at the map again. "But I'm not done." That evening, they hit the depot. Ira lured a patrol with a false distress beacon. Kane flanked from the high ridge. One shot dropped the lead officer. Two more fell before the others realized they were under attack. Kane vanished again, just a whisper in the trees. Ira breached the gates with a salvage detonator. They raided the depot, stealing munitions, food, and Dominion signal jammers. Before they left, Kane tagged the central power core with C4. As they disappeared into the dark, the depot erupted behind them in a thunderous bloom of fire and smoke. By the end of the week, 3 Dominion outposts had gone dark. Rumors spread across the channel frequencies. Some alien officers claimed a new UN elite force had arrived. Others whispered about a cursed human who couldn't die. Kane watched one Dominion captain lash his subordinates for speaking about the Reaper. That same night, Kane put a bullet through his skull during a security briefing. The message was clear. Nowhere is safe. Not even command. In Ira's camp, hope returned slowly. A child laughed. A man sang to himself as he fixed a solar panel. The silence, once heavy with fear, began to lift. "You've changed something," Ira said. "I just kill." "No," she said. "You remind them gods bleed too." The jungle whispered of a new legend. Dominion patrols moved in tighter formations now, weapons raised, eyes constantly scanning treetops. Their steps had lost rhythm. Every snap of a twig made them flinch. The war machines, the towering mechs and hovering drones, still rolled forward, but with hesitation. Something unseen stalked them. Something they couldn't explain. They called him the Ghost with Iron Eyes. Sergeant Marcus Kane watched from the shadows, silent, still. The enemy convoy below marched along a narrow canyon path. 8 soldiers, 2 quad crawlers, 1 officer in a rigid crimson exosuit. Standard resupply run. Kane waited for the right moment. Wind shifted. He adjusted. 1 breath. 1 squeeze. The officer's head jerked back, helmet shattered. The body dropped, legs still twitching. The others froze. Kane was already moving. He slid from the perch, boots soft on rock, vanished behind a ridge before the first plasma bolt lit the canyon wall. Dominion soldiers fired wildly, hitting nothing. They found no shooter. No trail. Kane left a single shell casing propped upright on a rock, polished clean. A message. Back at Ira's camp, the stolen signal jammer buzzed with intercepted comms. Another confirmed assassination, she said, skimming the distorted transmission. Third this week. They've issued a blackout on his name. Too late for that, Kane replied, cleaning his rifle. Fear's already out. She handed him a scorched data pad. This came from a deserter. Vrax's replacement, Commander Reshk, is rerouting orbital supply lines, trying to starve resistance groups. Kane studied the map. They're pulling resources from the south? Yeah. Abandoning outposts. Stretching their logistics thin. He tapped a blinking symbol. This depot here, unprotected now? Barely guarded. Then it's bait. Ira nodded. And? He stood. I like bait. Night fell like a trap. The depot sat in a clearing, low walls, minimal defenses. Too easy. Kane watched for hours, clocked the routine. One sentry on the south wall rotated every 6 minutes. 2 patrols, one inside, one perimeter. Minimal. Lazy. He slipped in beneath a drainage pipe, silent. Crawled through the filth, emerged in the shadows of a cargo bay. It wasn't empty. 4 Dominion officers sat around a hollow table, sipping something thick and steaming. Laughing. Kane recognized the trap then, but not soon enough. Motion sensors blinked above. Silent alarms. No sound, no flashing lights. Just confirmation. He turned to retreat. Too late. The wall exploded inward. An elite kill squad stormed through, weapons raised. Plasma rounds hissed past as Kane dove behind a crate, rolled, fired once. 1 alien dropped. Another took cover, barking orders. He sprinted, zigzagging through crates. Rolled beneath the table. Fired twice more, clean hits. But they kept coming. Ira's voice cracked through his calm. Kane! We're monitoring. They've locked the exit. I notice, he grunted, ducking behind a lift. Diversion? Already on it. A moment later, the night sky lit up. From the east, Ira's team fired mortar shells into the depot perimeter. The ground trembled. Sirens screamed. The kill team flinched. That was all Kane needed. He bolted through the back corridor, tossed a flash charge. Light blinded the last 2 soldiers. He shot them both without slowing. He didn't stop until the jungle swallowed him again. Back at the waterfall camp, Ira wrapped a bandage around his ribs. You're reckless, she muttered. You baited the rescue, he said. I'm smarter than you. Kane smirked, winced. No argument. She stepped back, crossed her arms. They're adapting. Fast. That trap wasn't random. They're scared. They're getting desperate. Desperation can kill you. He looked at the floor. Already dead, he muttered. She didn't respond. The next day, a message arrived from an unlikely source. A young Dominion defector, barely out of cadet rank, slipped into the camp under cover of fog. Thin, twitchy, eyes wide. He carried a data pad, sealed with Dominion encryption. Ira raised her rifle. You walk in here, you better talk fast. I don't believe in Vrax's war, the alien stammered. I've seen what he's done. What you've done. He looked at Kane with something between fear and awe. You've made them bleed. Kane stepped forward. What's on the pad? Coordinates. Commander Reshk's War Council. 3 days from now. Finalizing planetary-wide plan. Ira's face hardened. You mean genocide? The alien nodded. I want them gone too, he said. But I can't stop them. You can. Kane took the pad. You're helping us. They'll kill you. I'm already marked. For 3 days, Kane prepared. He built the doctrine from scratch. Sniper lanes. Explosive traps. backup exits, escape paths, signal blockers. He watched the meeting site, an elevated outpost carved into a cliffside, overlooked by 3 high ridges. Protected. Controlled. Predictable. Kane didn't need force. He needed a single bullet and absolute timing. Ira and the defector watched from a secondary perch, eyes on movement, comms jammed except for tight signal bursts. The council arrived. 5 Dominion leaders, all high command. Reshk wore an emerald insignia, chest puffed. The others followed in perfect formation. Arrogant. Kane breathed slow. The crosshairs settled. Confirming target, Ira whispered. Clear shot. Kane didn't answer. He squeezed the trigger. Resh dropped before he hit the ground. Chaos erupted. Officers shouted. Guards scrambled. But the hillside was already rigged. Ira detonated the charges. Dust and rock rained down. Half the cliff collapsed, burying the survivors. The aftermath echoed through Dominion ranks. 5 leaders dead. The entire war plan lost. Communications splintered. No one claimed the hit. No one could trace the origin. But everyone whispered. The ghost doctrine has begun. The Dominion responded the only way it knew how. With fire. Villages Kane had never seen went dark overnight. Resistance outposts, even ones he hadn't touched, were wiped from the map. Ira's old hideouts, the ones they'd already abandoned, were glassed from orbit. Forests burned. Rivers boiled. Civilians were herded into holding pens like livestock. It wasn't strategy. It was vengeance. Vrax's law. For every one of ours, we take 100 of theirs. Ira stood beside a smoking crater, jaw clenched. The smell of scorched flesh clung to the air. They didn't even fight, she said. Children. Elders. Farmers. Kane said nothing. He sifted through ash with the tip of his boot. A small hand poked out beneath the rubble, still clutching a cloth doll, now half melted. Ira turned away. What are we doing, Kane? If they're going to slaughter everyone we protect, are we helping or making it worse? Kane looked up at the blackened sky. They were always going to do this. She faced him, eyes burning. Not like this. Not this fast. He reached into his vest, pulled out a small data chip. This changes now. What is it? Something Reshk had on him. Before I shot him. Later that night, under cover of a storm, Kane decoded the chip. Encrypted logs. Personal coordinates. Audio memos. And one transmission labeled Vrax. Live feed only. He played it. The screen flickered. Then a live holofeed emerged, grainy but active. The general's throne room. Vrax sat alone, hunched forward, clawed fingers tapping the armrests of his war chair. His face had changed. Metal reinforced the lower half now. Rebuilt. Scarred. A surviving warlord. Kane hadn't killed him. Just wounded him. Badly. You can see me, Vrax said suddenly, staring straight into the lens. Good. Kane froze. I know you watch. You've made quite the legend for yourself, human. But legends are fragile. He leaned closer, voice low. I remember your eyes. I saw them through my scope before your bullet shattered my face. Kane narrowed his own eyes. You want me to fear you. But I am fear. I command planets, burn histories, erase species. I reshape reality with my will. He paused, then smiled. I'm coming to Thalvora. The feed cut. Ira stared at him across the table. He's coming here? To this hellhole? He wants to kill for himself, Kane said. Arrogant. Stupid. No, she said. This is a trap. He nodded. That's the idea. Over the next 2 days, Kane scouted the highlands north of the Dominion landing zone. If Vrax was deploying directly, he'd bring a Fortress-class carrier. Those ships only touched down in hard terrain, stable rock, wide clearings, secure landing vectors. The highlands had just one. A former mining crater called Ravik's Scar. Deep. Wide. Natural elevation. Perfect for a nest. He set up shop. Alone. Ira protested. You won't make it out. I don't plan to. She threw a pack at his chest. Then don't make me watch. He watched the stars fall. The Dominion carrier breached orbit in silence, a black mass blotting out constellations. It settled into the crater with mechanical grace. As it locked down, smaller vessels deployed, patrols, guards, drones. Then came the procession. Vrax stepped onto Thalvora like a conquering god. Massive, rebuilt, half-machine. Armor plated across his spine. A towering glaive slung over one shoulder. His eyes, 3 organic, 1 synthetic, swept the ridgeline. Kane adjusted the scope. Too far for a shot yet. But soon. Vrax paced the platform, addressing his elite guard. You are not soldiers. You are executioners. They raised their fists in salute. I want the sniper found. I want his skull crushed beneath my boot. I will wear his rifle across my back as a trophy. Kane slowed his breath. Got something for you too, he muttered. Night fell hard. Kane remained motionless for hours, waiting. Observing. The camp never stopped moving. Drones patrolled. Guards changed shifts with mechanical efficiency. But one blind spot remained, an elevated tower near the edge of the platform. Vrax used it for solitude. Reflection. Tonight, he went there again. Kane tracked his movement through the scope, breath steady. Wind calm. Distance 1,287 meters. He adjusted for drop. Whispered. For Jameson. For Ira. For the girl with the doll. Finger on trigger. Wait. Vrax paused at the edge, looking into the jungle. He raised a hand, pointing. A sudden flash, Kane rolled back instinctively. The tower exploded. His perch crumbled. They'd found him. Kane tumbled down the slope, slammed into a tree, rifle spinning into the dark. Alarms erupted below. Plasma bolts hissed past as drones lit up the jungle with spotlights. He pulled himself upright, staggered into cover, ears ringing. Then he heard it, boots. Fast. Heavy. A squad of elite guards was coming straight for him. He ran. Through mud. Over roots. One bolt scorched past his head. Another hit his shoulder, spun him into the dirt. He rolled, drew his sidearm, fired blindly. 2 went down. 3 more came. Then a figure emerged from the dark. Ira. She fired a blast from a stolen Dominion weapon, dropped one, then tossed Kane his rifle. Still don't make me watch, she said. Together they moved. Not retreating. Not fleeing. Repositioning. Kane knew what he had to do now. Vrax wanted a final confrontation. He wanted the myth broken with his own hands. Fine. Kane would give him that chance. But on his terms. He limped to a new perch, low, hidden, facing the platform. Ira covered him. Vrax stepped out again, frustrated, furious. I offer myself, he roared. Come, ghost. Let me end your legend. Kane breathed in. No tricks. No explosions. No traps. Just one shot. He pulled the trigger. And this time, Vrax didn't fall. The shot struck Vrax in the chest. Not center mass, too much armor. But high left, just beneath the clavicle. Enough to stagger him. Enough to make him bleed. He didn't fall. Instead, he roared. A primal, guttural bellow that rolled across the crater like thunder. Soldiers turned. Drones shifted direction. All eyes locked on him. He ripped the bullet out with a clawed hand, held it up like a trophy. Is that it? He shouted. That's your fury, human? He dropped the round and pointed toward the jungle. Come face me. Kane exhaled and lowered the rifle. His hands trembled. Not from fear. From pain. His shoulder was scorched from the earlier hit. Every breath stabbed his side. His body had taken more than it could handle. Ira crouched beside him, watching the enemy platform. He's drawing you out. I know. You can't win in a straight fight. I won't. She hesitated. Then what's the plan? Kane slid the bolt back, chambered the last round. One shot. That didn't work the first time. This one's different. He stood, legs shaky but determined. I'm ending this. The walk down the slope was slow. Purposeful. No stealth. No cover. Kane emerged from the tree line with his rifle slung over his shoulder, a pistol in one hand, knife strapped to his hip. A soldier walking into the jaws of a beast. The Dominion forces froze. Weapons lifted. Drones hovered. No one fired. Vrax stood at the center of the platform, glaive in hand, a smear of black blood across his chest plate. You came, he said, voice cold with satisfaction. You called, Kane replied. He stepped forward. Every muscle ached. Every instinct screamed to run. But his feet kept moving. Vrax descended from the platform like a god dismounting his altar. The ground shook beneath his boots. No tricks. No traps. Just you and me, he said. Kane nodded. Just us. They stopped 5 meters apart. Silence. Then Vrax charged. Kane moved sideways, dropped low. The glaive swung past, slicing air. He fired twice. One hit the side of Vrax's neck, the other ricocheted off his armor. The warlord grabbed him mid-dodge and slammed him into the dirt. Bones cracked. Kane gasped. Vrax raised the glaive. Kane rolled, pulled his knife, slashed across the exposed wrist. Blood sprayed. Vrax stumbled, howled. Kane crawled toward his rifle, fingertips brushing the barrel. A boot crushed his hand. Your legend ends here, Vrax growled. Kane spat blood. You're just another corpse waiting to happen. Vrax raised the glaive again. A sharp crack rang out. He froze. Ira stood at the ridge, rifle smoking. The shot had pierced the exposed hydraulics on the back of Vrax's leg. Sparks flew. The joint collapsed. Vrax dropped to one knee. Kane didn't hesitate. He grabbed the rifle, pushed himself upright, aimed point-blank at Vrax's face. You shouldn't have come. He fired. The shot tore through Vrax's synthetic eye and out the back of his skull. This time he fell. No roar. No words. Just dead weight and silence. The battlefield held its breath. Then the Dominion lines cracked. Soldiers panicked. Drones spiraled, unsure. Some ran. Some dropped their weapons and knelt, waiting for new orders that would never come. Ira reached him seconds later, helped him up. He barely stood. You all right? She asked. No. But it's over. He looked down at Vrax's body. Yeah. It is. The transmission spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Not the official one. Not the doctored feeds or redacted versions. The raw footage, recorded from Ira's helmet cam, uncut, of one human sniper walking into a fortress alone, standing face to face with a warlord, and killing him without ceremony. No speeches. No banners. Just resolve. Within days, Dominion colonies revolted. Within weeks, half their military structure collapsed. By the end of the year, peace negotiations had begun. And humanity, once mocked for its bullets and boots, was feared. Kane didn't attend the ceremony. He didn't want medals or titles. He didn't need applause. Instead, he returned to the ruins of the jungle, stood where Jameson had fallen, and placed the coin in the soil. Wish you could have seen it, he whispered. Ira stood a few feet behind him. You could stay, she said. I don't belong in quiet places. She nodded, understanding. Then keep making noise. Before he left Thalvora, he climbed one last ridge. Same spot as the first shot. Same view. Burned. Scarred. But free. He sat with his rifle in his lap, eyes scanning the horizon. Waiting. Because he knew peace never lasted. Not really. And somewhere someone would forget again. Forget what humans could do. Forget what it meant when one of them picked up a rifle and took a breath. Because gods can bleed. And ghosts never miss.